The San Francisco Giants get an absolutely huge victory versus the Philadelphia Phillies by a final score of 3-1. A big game to try to catch up to the Phillies in the National League wild card standings. Jeff Samardzija got the start for your Giants, the Shark, and he was absolutely on a roll today, guys. In his last 7 starts coming into the game, and this is dating back to July, in which, July was just one of the most phenomenal runs that we've seen out of Jeff Samardzija, since he's been a Giant. It's been so much fun to watch. He had a 2.11 ERA coming in his last 7 starts, and I mean, he absolutely just continued to pitch well. He had full command of all of his pitches. He was attacking the zone, attacking these Phillies hitters, keeping them off balance with a nice 4-pitch mix for Samardzija. And what we've seen is really just his progression, now that he's become a veteran pitcher, knows how to pitch to hitters and knows a good game plan. And, him and Buster Posey absolutely work well together. And so this was just a great game. And when you consider that the Giants starting rotation, the rookies have really struggled, and, it's put a lot of pressure on the Giants bullpen, and, they've had to eat a lot of innings. And so when you got, a couple horses in the rotation like a Madison Bumgarner and a Jeff Samardzija, it really just helps things get right back into balance, giving the bullpen a break. And, it's always good when you can rely on, certain pitchers that, they're going to be able to carry you deep into a ball game, or, if your bullpen's had to pitch a lot of innings of late, that you can expect to get a break for some of those pitchers down there. So really phenomenal. Samardzija went 8 innings in this one, only allowing 2 hits in the game. He gave up 1 earned run, which ended up coming on a solo home run. That was, of course, in the first inning, and he did not allow a single walk in this game. And so, that's another thing with Samardzija, is that he has such good command of all of his pitches, and being able to throw, any one of his 4 pitches and, whatever count, even a 3-2 count, he's got that confidence. And, so when you're able to mix and match with big league hitters, you're constantly able to keep them off balance, and, it really gives you a competitive edge on the mound. And so Samardzija's just been using that to his advantage. And, that's also one of the big things. You see a lot of hard throwers that can throw 100 miles an hour, but, they have no idea where the ball is going. And so command is huge. And, you'd rather throw, like, let's say a 92 mile per hour located fastball than throw a 100 mile per hour fastball that's out of, or goes down the middle, or, is not located properly. So, command is huge, and being able to throw at a velocity that you can command your pitches and be relaxed out there, that is the key. And so Samardzija now with the outing, guys, he's got a 3.55 ERA on the season. And so the Giants were opposing Vince Velasquez in this one, a 27-year-old right-hander who went 5 innings, allowing 3 hits, 3 earned runs, gave up 1 walk, and of course had 3 strikeouts. He had 2 home runs allowed to the Giants. And so, that was a huge storyline of the game. The Giants did leave some opportunities out there for, to be able to push across a few more insurance runs. But, they were able to capitalize on 2 home runs, so capitalize on the long ball. And so this was a huge, hard-fought pitcher's duel. And you saw a winning formula from the Giants that we known from the 3 years, 2010, 2012, and 2014. And of course, that formula is good pitching, great defense, timely hitting, and you win yourself a lot of ball games. And so that's been the formula at Oracle Park. But now we're starting to mix in the long ball, and it's just been awesome to see more Giants hitters hitting the long ball now. I feel like years prior, we didn't have hardly anyone above a 15 home run mark. And, now this year, I think we're going to probably have about like 3 or 4 guys maybe approaching, the 20 home run plateau before the end of the season. And so, that's just extremely exciting. And so, guys, now let's get into the scoring of how the game played out. So in the top of the first inning, of course, Jeff Samardzija would allow a first inning run. But again, if you're going to allow a solo home run, then or I'm sorry, if you're going to allow a home run, then, you know, how better is it than with nobody on base? So 1 run scores on the Corey Dickerson solo home run. It was his 7th home run of the season, and that gave the Phillies a early 1-0 lead. So now in the bottom of the 2nd inning, what we saw, guys, is that Vince Velasquez was really out of whack. Scooter Gennett was up there, and, you know, Velasquez, he threw inside, I think it was, and almost really hit Gennett, or actually it really carried and hit him, and it was like a direct hit because the ball literally like bounced back and it kind of hit somewhere off of his arm. And so, you know, hopefully he's probably going to have some numbing a little bit following the game, and, you know, so hopefully he doesn't miss too much time or even any time at all. But, you know, Scooter Gennett got hit by a pitch, and then up comes Evan Longoria. And so, you know, it's a situation here, if you're Longoria, you know that this guy is probably not going to throw you some pitches that, you know, he's not commanding right now. So maybe you can zone in and look for a certain pitch. And so I think this could have been a case of Longoria looking for a certain pitch, and he just happened to get the pitch he wanted. And on a day game, you know, it was pretty hot out there today, a hot afternoon at Oracle Park. Longoria put a nice piece of hitting on the ball and drove it over the wall, the left field bleachers, and several rows back, guys, for a 2-run home run for Evan Longoria. It was his 14th home run of the season. And really interesting is that last year in 2018, across 121 games, Longoria hit 16 home runs. And now, of course, this year in 89 games, he's got 14 home runs. So he's on pace to out-hit the amount of home runs he hit last year. And, you know, last year was an adjustment period for Longoria. Of course, playing your entire career out there for the Tampa Bay Rays, you know, he was a homegrown player, and, you know, so it's always a culture shock. And we've seen this out of not just Longoria, but also Kevin Pillar. You know, he's had a career year this year, and, you know, with the day that he had today, which we'll get into in a little bit, guys, here, but Pillar, he established a new career high in RBIs with over 60 RBIs now on the season. It has been so much fun to see Superman out there, not just only defensively, but also with the bat. Pillar just getting the job done, you know, at all. And so, of course, guys, that leads us into the bottom of the 5th inning as Kevin Pillar would add an insurance run on his 15th home run of the season. It was a phenomenal hit. The pitcher, Velasquez, threw him, you know, a pretty good, decent pitch. It was below the knees, and Pillar just really put a good piece of hitting on the ball. So, again, you know, both home runs today were very impressive by these Giants, and, you know, it really just shows the power of a Kevin Pillar. And so his 15th home run now of the season, and like we said, congratulations to Kevin Pillar on a new career high in RBIs, having the greatest season of his life at the age of 31. And so it's really impressive when you consider having spent 7 years of his career with the Blue Jays and now blossoming in his first year with the Giants, and right spank in the middle of a playoff race. This is so much fun, guys. And so now let's get into the offensive statistics of this game. So going over the box score for you, we got Evan Longoria. Of course, he had a multi-hit game, going 2 for 3. And, you know, he really did show some bounce back, as yesterday he went 0 for 5. And so, you know, coming right back in his first at-bat after taking an 0 for like that, you know, he's able to get back into a positive state of mind and build some confidence. And, you know, he did say in the interview after the game that, of course, when he did come back from the injury, I do not believe he played any rehab games. So, you know, he was adjusting to, you know, obviously the timing and everything in the batter's box. And so hopefully we're seeing Longoria right back to getting in that hot streak. So Longoria scores 1 run in the game, knocks 2 RBIs on the big 2-run home run. So Longoria now, guys, is hitting .243 on the season. Brandon Crawford went 1 for 3. He's hitting .225 on the year. So it has been a struggle this year offensively for Crawford, but we haven't seen the RBI total go down that bad, actually. He's still at, I believe, 47 RBIs, so having a great year. We will see 60, 70 RBIs out of Crawford, and for him playing the type of Gold Glove shortstop that he brings on a daily basis, you know, really good production out of that shortstop position. And so also Kevin Pillar, guys, of course, 2 for 3, multi-hit game. He's starting to climb with that average now up to 248, and now scored 1 run in the game, and of course the 1 RBI on the home run. And so now, guys, we are going to get into the bullpen pitching statistics of this game for your Giants. And there wasn't a whole lot of action needed out of the bullpen, as the Shark went a commanding 8 innings in this one. And it led to Will Smitty, guys, our closer, Will Smith. He came into the 9th inning, and it was a very dramatic 9th inning because we saw the Phillies have the beef coming up in the 9th, and, you're nursing a 2-run lead at home. And so, it was really a really intense 9th inning. The first batter, he wound up bunting the ball, and so the Giants got lucky getting a first pitch out on 1 pitch. And then, of course, as the inning would prolong, we saw Bryce Harper come up there representing the tying run, and Will Smith was able to strike him out on a breaking ball that tailed out of the strike zone, a slider. It was absolutely filthy. And, it was really a big moment in the game, and the crowd, they were loud. So I give them big credit, Giants fans. We were bringing the energy at Oracle Park, and, that's what we're going to have to continue to do down the stretch, to try to keep afloat in this wild card race until, of course, the likes of Alex Dickerson can come back healthy and, bring that energy that this Giants team has just been running away with when, the chemistry and just everything, how it fell together for us in the month of July. We got to be able to get that mojo back, and we definitely have it within us to make it happen. So Will Smitty, after that, guys, with 2 outs, up comes Rhys Hoskins, and he looks very good on hitting a pitch. He just missed it, essentially. And I think if you're a Will Smith, and you can sense maybe that a guy's got you timed or is seeing you pretty well, in this situation, runner at first with 2 out in the 9th, you don't necessarily have to give in to this guy. So I think Will Smith kind of pitched around him, and you had a lefty on deck. And so that's another thing to keep into perspective. And if we looked at Corey Dickerson's lifetime numbers against Will Smith, Corey Dickerson was 0 for 5 lifetime with 4 strikeouts. So it could have been a case of Will Smith pitching around Rhys Hoskins, a guy with lots of power that, of course, could tie the ball game up with 1 pitch. And so, when you got a threat like that, you really got to be careful, because all it takes is just 1 mistake and, the ball game's tied. So, of course, Will Smith wound up walking Hoskins. He threw him a breaking ball on a 3-1 pitch. So, I think that told us Will Smith was pitching around him, essentially. And, of course, you never want to necessarily put the go-ahead run in the batter's box and put the tying run on base, in this case, where a double or something in the gap is going to tie the game. But when you looked at who was on deck, the history, and, being that the guy had lots of power in the batter's box, I think Will Smith, was thinking to the best of his ability, and it really benefited him as he would wound up getting the next batter to finish the ball game, striking him out. And so, Corey Dickerson, he now has struck out 5 times in 6 career at-bats against Will Smith. So phenomenal job for Will Smith, now picking up his 27th save of the year for your Giants. So really great victory, guys. And so with the victory now, of course, the Giants are still 3.5 games back of the wild card. We are 2.5 games back of the Phillies. So a huge game tomorrow, with a chance with the victory to not only take 3 out of 4 from the Phillies, but to close that gap behind the Phillies to be only a game and a half back. And so now, guys, let's look ahead to the future, to the San Francisco Giants' next game. Game 4 of the series, the finale, is going to go down on Sunday afternoon. And the Giants are going to be sending rookie left-hander, 24-year-old Conner Menez to the mound. He's going to be making his 3rd major league start of the season. Of course, his first career start versus the Phillies. If we look at what Conner Menez did in his last start on Tuesday against the Nationals, we did see a positive in that Conner Menez went 6 innings, but he did give up quite a bit of runs, as he gave up 5 earned runs in that outing. But of course, you're going to see the ups and downs of these rookies. We've seen it with a Conner Menez in a few starts. We've seen it with Tyler Beede, of course, and we've seen it second was Sean Anderson. So, you know, it's going to be a learning curve, and, you know, what better ways for these guys to get their feet wet than pitching in meaningful games? Because I think, you know, that experience is only going to help them not only for this year, but as they go into the future and continue to develop. So Conner Menez on the year, guys, he's 0-1 with a 5.73 ERA and to go with 10 strikeouts. And so he is going to be opposing the former NL Cy Young Award winner, Jake Arrieta of the Phillies. Of course, we remember facing him in the National League wildcard game. I think it was, well, actually, my bad, I'm sorry. We didn't face him in the wild card game, but he did pitch a wild card game, Jake Arrieta, for the Cubs. So, you know, he's got postseason experience. Oh, yeah, that's right. We faced him when we faced the Cubs. That's right. Back in 2016, we definitely remember a Jake Arrieta. Now, he's 8-8 on the year with a 4.41 ERA to go with 105 strikeouts. And so, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you made it all the way through to the end of the video, then be sure to smash that like button, as it really helps support the YouTube algorithm. And also, guys, I want to thank you so much for those of you that watch my videos and that comment. I loved reading your guys' comments. I love to get your insight and your perspective on a topic that, of course, I'm so passionate about in San Francisco Giants baseball. So comment down below. Let me know, guys, your opinion, your perspective. What are your thoughts, the emotions after a big victory today? And it was very intense in that ninth inning. Let me know how much on the edge of the seat were you. And also, guys, you know, a funny topic to bring up, if you got any superstitions about maybe when you're watching the game, or things that you do that just kind of, whether you laugh at it or it's fun to do, enjoyable, those are always interesting stories to bring up. So let me know. And also, what are your guys' thoughts with, you know, the trades that we made at the deadline, if you haven't already? Love to hear what you guys think. And until next time, I will see you again. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.